wash your hands. It's really, really cheap, awesome product. Rub and Buff.
Rub and Buff?
Rub
So
and
like
Buff.
a wax kind of thing?
It's wax. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that, on that paint note, model paints, like Testers is the brand that we use all the time. It is like, we used to share a workshop space with someone who's been in Hollywood prop scene for, well, let's just say he was working on the original Star Wars. And we were weathering something with our Testers, actually a Nerf gun in fact, that we were just having fun with and putting Testers all over it. And we had 4 different colors of Testers because they're great metal colors. And they have the like rusty color, and so we're just playing with that, and he walks over and he's like, "Testers?" He throws his hands up, says, "Fuck you," and walks away. We're like, well, I guess we're doing something right. And he is actually a very, very big advocate of Rub and Buff. Testers you don't have to seal afterwards. And we haven't had a problem with it sticking to any of the plastics. But Rub and Buff is also, it's been around for a long time, so.
A note.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in lighting. Can you recommend putting lights on clothes?
Lights on clothes. Like, what style of clothes are you thinking?
Well, like Star Wars, I want to use some effect on the lighting.
Okay. For the cheaper side of things, if you're comfortable like messing with a little bit of the electronics, IKEA has strip lights, and they change kind of semi-annually with what they've got in stock. But it's kind of like the Christmas light idea, but they're all battery packed. And so I've sewn them into pieces. I've attached them several methods to our Star Wars armor. I have a set of Mandalorian crossover with Metroid that is going to have lights, and that was just simply like glued in. There's also, the popular thing right now is EL wire and tape. And anywhere you get those has great instructions on how to work with those. Those do buzz, so I don't like them as much, but.
I'm old school. I buy everything on eBay just because I can do it at work and have it waiting at my door when I get home and save a lot of time. You can buy EL wire by the foot or the yard for like $3 with the transformer.
Yeah.
What I do, I'm from Portland, so there's a store that's local called Surplus Gizmo, which is heaven for stuff like this. But they also have a website that you can buy off of. This guy, I don't know if the battery's still good. It's really faint right now because it's been running all since yesterday. But they sell strips in all different colors, and it has individual LEDs, and the strips have all the resistors built into it, and you cut it to length, and it cuts every 1 inch. This one happens to be yellow in here, running around the bottom of the interior of this. But you cut it every inch, and you cut it to length, and then you just put a positive and a negative that you solder on there, and then run a 9-volt battery on it. A 9-volt battery, this has been running all yesterday and probably about 3 hours today, so that's probably a good 9 hours that it's been running, or plus. And it has bright settings, dim settings, crisp or soft. And they have not only this, and it's flexible too.
Yeah.
It has a sticky side. I don't know if it would be washable, but if you want to put it into clothing, if you can put it into little sleeves that you can slide it out and
Yes.
slide it into a sleeve and then put a little Velcro patch onto it or some type of way that you can slide it out of that pocket so you can have that garment washable.
There's, sorry.
No,
also,
please.
It's a really relatively cheap but super easy way to get. It's all pre-wired, battery, switch, everything. Automotive stores.
What is it called?
Automotive stores?
Oh,
They
yeah.
have this
That's
lighting
like
already sitting
Yeah.
there waiting for you to apply it to stuff. I use it. stopped doing electronics in my costumes. I just started buying this stuff. You can also take the switch off, because it's a momentary switch. And they even in the automotive store sell a little toggle switch. And you just, clean the wire, put it on there, and it works. I use it in things constantly. Because I'm really
Yeah. All right, 1, 2, 3, real quick.
Okay. There's a local place called Creation Station here,
Okay,
and they have all kinds of industrial parts and bits and pieces that are donated. And you can go and play there and get stuff fairly cheaply.
okay.
And odd things, you never know what's going to be there, but they
Yeah.
have interesting things all the time. So if you're looking for ideas, check them out.
Yeah.
I was
And
gonna say, if you want programmable lights, you can go with Arduino, you get a little circuit board, you get LEDs. And
What's it
you
called?
so on.
Arduino.
Arduino, and then you can use, it's like conductive thread,
Mhm.
so, and then you can program them to light up in different patterns, and they're apparently washable, I haven't tried.
I think that's the company that started the sound sensitive shirts that you've seen about.
got it.
Yeah.
I think that's the same technology that's in those. Huh.
So like for Los Angeles weather where it gets above 100.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Would you suggest staying kind of away from warm glow or is it fine as long as it's safe?
I just suggest not leaving in your car overnight.
Well,
So,
the problem is even driving an hour and a half to something, you're dealing with
Yeah.
the vaccine sign.
air conditioning.
I would go for plastic that is not as low temperature sensitive. I would go vacuum formed plastic. We create our own vacuum formed table. Vacuum forming is magic. Also the biggest headache that you, because you have to make the mold in order to form the plastic. And you can heat the plastic in your oven and pull it out, turn on the vacuum, and it sucks it down over the mold. That's the way I would go, as opposed to Warblow or Wonderflex or any of those style of thermoplastics.
I've actually never had it warp on me. These are all horror stories that everyone, and sometimes they get exaggerated, but it does happen.
Watched The Mask myself.
What she also suggested too is having this backed.
Yeah.
If it's a thin piece by itself, it's going to flop, just like a shrink cake. But if you have some type of structure that it's coating, then it's not going to go very far. It'll be soft to the touch when you take it out of the hot car, so you'll want to let it cool down. But if you, and it's still not only in the big sheet, but it has different sizes. You can get all the way down to a smaller size. But if you have a friend that has some and they said, "Give me a piece of scrap, I want to leave it in my car and see what this does." My heat gun, to get this to the point to where I can move it around, has to get pretty hot to where I wouldn't want to sit in that car. So if you're driving around in that car, props to you, but yeah, it takes a lot. So
All right.
thank you guys.
Thanks for coming. If you have other questions, feel free to ask us if we're wandering around.
Midnight Armor.
I'm Midnight Armor, or I'm half of Midnight Armor. If you have more questions and you don't see us around, feel free to message us on Facebook or email. Thanks for